How's it going, gardeners? This is Getting Curried Away. I'm here to do an orchard update. It is Sunday, May the 3rd, 2026, and I'm just going to go through how my orchard's doing, actually update some of the trees. I have done a lot of research and figured out what my original grafts were on these trees, what is still around, and so I'm going to go through everything, go through all my grafts, and see how everything's doing so far this year. All right, so let's get to it. Okay, so as we walk over here, you'll notice the two trees from my first video I did this year, that both of the grafts I tried on them failed. And I think that's because these two are the earliest to break bud in my orchard. And so by the time I actually get my grafting materials, I'm talking like really early, they're breaking bud in February, when everything else is pretty much breaking bud in mid-March. So by the time I get my grafting materials, they've already pushed a really large flush of growth, and so they have a lot of sap flowing through them at that point in time, and I think that it floods out the graft union. And so this one was going to be Shell of Alabama this year, and that was going to be a White Winter Permian. But they didn't take, so what I'm going to do is just let them grow from now on. Maybe I'll end up eventually in a couple years, probably 5, 6, 7 years, actually getting flowers off of them, because I have butchered them a lot the last 3 years trying to get actual grafts to take. Anyway, I'm going to let them grow, see if I get any edible apples off of them. Probably not, but maybe something that's at least something semi-decent. And then I will at least, at the very least, they'll flower, hopefully not extremely early, though I bet they'll be pretty early, but hopefully they'll still have flowers going when the rest of my trees are flowering. And I can actually get them to produce, like, because they're probably going to be crab apple, so they'll probably have lots of flowers, and that'll be really good pollinators for all of my trees. So anyway, you can see I got the least, like, look, this isn't even held together hardly. It's just two ends that are, you know, I didn't have an extra stake. I didn't want to spend extra money on stakes, so these got my my worst fencing for the deers, and like the least amount of staking protection, because I really don't care about them if the deer get them, because they're not something that I'm really trying to grow. I need to go through and fix this one, because if you look at it, let me zoom in here, you see it's just like a bush essentially. So I need to get it to 1 liter in there, and then let that grow tall this year, and then go from there. But that's something that, now that it's not a rainy period, I can go through and do. So now that I spent 3 minutes talking about the two trees that don't really matter, we'll get to the trees that do matter. So up first, we have a now known quantity here. So this tree I grafted in 2023, and I didn't have a name tag for it, so I forgot what it was. And all of my videos, I went back and looked, I never mentioned what it was, but now I know that this is an Ellison orange tree. And so it's actually put on a ton of growth this year. It's looking really good. I can't really say things too much, because half the time it looks good, and then fire blight comes through and I have to cut a bunch of it out. So it's only early May. There's still a lot of time for fire blight, so hopefully it doesn't get anything. But there's a lot of Bradford pear trees in the neighborhood, and they are riddled with fire blight right now. But right now, this has 5 apples on it. One of them fell off. I'm thinking this one on the bottom here is going to fall off soon, because it stopped growing. But these other 4 up here are growing pretty well right now. So hopefully they'll continue to grow and not fall off on the June drop. But we will have to wait and see. So that's the Ellison orange tree. Now I'm going to go in here, and we're going to take a look at this is my Red Delicious tree. It's my oldest tree. Only flowered one time in 2022, and that was one little cluster of very malformed flowers. And yeah, unfortunately, it's been very vegetative. It's because I've been giving it too much of nitrogen in the spring, and so it's just been in full vegetative mode because it's a little toddler and it just wants to stay a toddler, and it's unruly. But anyway, neither here nor there. I'm going to fix that this year. I'm going to not give it any nitrogen. None of my trees are getting nitrogen this year. And then I'm going to come through before I do my summer pruning and give everything a spray with a 0-20-10 mixture of phosphorus and potassium to really encourage the tree to set fruit buds this year. And so next year, hopefully, if we get chill hours, even though it's a super El Nino coming, so probably not, I'll be able to actually get some flowers on this tree. Anyway, let's go through the grafts on the tree real quick, and then I'll move on to the next tree. So first up, we have a Appaloosa graft right here that has taken, or at least I think it's taken. It's not growing really fast, but at least it hasn't, the growth on it has not died yet. All right, and now I know what these two grafts up here are on the top that I didn't know before. The one here on the right is a discovery graft, and this one right here that's large and in charge is a Hudson Golden Gem graft. So know that now, and it'll forever be logged. That's what they are. These two grafts down here have taken, and ooh, I need to rewrap that one. The plastic, or not plastic, but the tinfoil came off of it. So I need to rewrap that to protect the graft from the sun. So this one is a White Winter Permian. This one is a Sierra Beauty. And I will rewrap that in a second after I'm done with this video. I'm going to come around here because I got some more grafts on the other side that are hard to show. This is a Black Oxford graft right here. I had to basically notch the tree below, or well, above where the branches coming out here to actually get this to break bud. It was very unruly this year. Didn't want to break bud. Here is another Appaloosa graft right here that has taken. It looks pretty good. And then right here, this is where most of the energy for the tree's going now that I've cut out most of the Red Delicious almost. I only got a couple branches. I got, this branch here that's still Red Delicious, those two down there, and this one off to the side. But all this mess right here is amber wine. And so hopefully it's got a ton of proto fruit buds on there. So if I give it a spray, hopefully it will actually set fruit. There's a bird up in my tree. You need to go away. Get away from my apples. Don't peck them. All right. So next up, we have, this is my Pink Lady tree here. It's got 5 good scaffold branches on it right now. I, have the spreaders in there, but, it's kind of a mess still. It's not, they're all pretty much coming out of one spot. I don't really like that. I wish they were more spread out, but what can you do? You work with what you got. So let's go over the grafts on this tree. In front of me right here, this is another Hudson Golden Gem graft. It normally gets destroyed by fire blight, so hopefully that's not the case this year, but I'm not getting my hopes up. They both have gotten hit pretty bad in the past with fire blight, so we'll have to see. Up here, we don't really know what this one is. The person I got this from said that it was a Granny Smith type apple, but an actual unknown for what it is. But apparently it's very vigorous and it grows very fast. I have 2 grafts of it on this tree. One right here and then one down there. So it's also doing pretty well itself. So that's good. And then another graft on this tree I have is a Cherry Crush right there. You can see very horizontal growth. That's what it likes to do. It's very spindly. That's because it's a tip bearer. And you'll see when we go over to the actual tree that I have of Cherry Crush, that is a tip, that it's very odd. We'll just say that. This here, I have finally positively identified it as an Akane apple. graft. Unfortunately, my Akane apple tree that I had was right there where that Red Delicious was. And when we came home from a trip one summer, like we were only gone for like a couple days, even when watering, it was dead. Don't know why, it just died. Don't know if it was graft incompatibility or it got fire blight or it just didn't get watered enough or overwatered even. It could be anything, don't know, but I had to rip it up, and so now that Red Delicious is there. But anyway, some good news. The flower bud that I pointed out last year in this video, which I know this isn't going to focus on it unless I put my hand in here. Ooh, sorry, getting it where I want to go. Yeah, right there. Those guys, kind of dark, hard to see probably, but those are flowers for the Akane. So I still have a bunch of rat tail blooms on my Discovery apples, so I'm hoping that I can get pollen from that to pollinate those and actually get some Akane apples this year, which would be nice. But it's got good growth on it. And then we come to our sort of problem child. It is very vigorous, lots of growth. This is a Catherine apple graft right up here. It does have, with a little bit of damage from something on it, one apple. So that's a Catherine apple up there. And then for the pink lady itself, it does have 3 apples on it right now. So we look down here, whether this actually focuses on them or not, there's 2 right there. I have basically, eventually, once the apples are done, I'm going to take out all of this right here so that the Cherry Crush has more room to grow, because it's just wanting to grow all over the place. But I do have another apple down in here. So there's 3 apples on this here. Walk over here. This is my Arkansas Black tree. So I originally had Arkansas Black here that I bought from Home Depot. It got fire blight, it got string trimmered. It was very sad looking, and yeah, so it ended up dying, and I ripped it out and replaced it with this one that is on a rootstock that I grew from seed. So it's got a lot of energy going through it. I need to restake it because the wind has kind of blown it off at an angle, and it's putting on a lot of growth this year. So I don't want it to grow into like a bad positioning, so that when a real windstorm comes and it's really big and it has fruit on it, that it doesn't blow over. So I need to, you can see how much it's swaying just in the wind right now. I need to actually stake that up. Over here we have a tropic sweet tree that I've grafted. You see it's got like a ton of growth on it. It's really good. I tried to use some of its pollen to pollinate the Discovery apples over here, and inadvertently, though it might be hard to see, got an apple to take on it right there in the center. So yeah, that's probably gonna have to go here because it's young, and that might cause the graft to break. But yeah, so we did have an apple set on it this year. Who knew? And then here is a fully Red Delicious tree with no grafts on it. I bought this at Walmart last year. Planted it. Did some pruning on the inside here to make these branches a little more sturdy. And then when it gets spreader, to spread that one out so it's at a good angle instead of going straight up. But plan right now is to just let this grow, see if I can get it to produce fruit or flowers that one over there never seems to do. So we'll see what we do with it. I do need to get some BT out here because there are a lot of silkworms on this thing eating it up, and well, a lot of the trees there are a lot of holes in the leaves right now from little worms on there. So what can you do about that? So spray it for now. So that's what I'll have to do. Coming to this one, this is a Discovery tree here. It has I think 1 graft on it, and that would be this one right here, and that is a Sierra Beauty, and it looks really good. So it's got lots of growth on it. I'm gonna have to eventually get a spreader, probably soon actually, spread this one branch out, so it's going this way, and then maybe cut out this next year, so it has more room to grow. This Discovery does have several little apples on it. Whether they actually take fully or not, I don't know. We'll have to see. These were the first off a spur, and they're pretty big, but it had a ton of apples on this last year, and then they just fell off and died. So I'm not getting my hopes up until they actually get decent size and continue to grow. So that is this Discovery tree here. Next we have my Golden Delicious apple tree. It has 7 apples on it currently. I mistakenly cut off 2 apples because I was cleaning up the branches to give some room for my Pink Parfait graft to grow. And yeah, I didn't know that one of the branches that I was cutting off had apples on it, so that was unfortunate. So let's see here. Here's a couple right here. There's a couple like up over in there. There's a couple up here. And, ooh, walking into the fence over here. I left one over here on this side, and this one's getting pretty big. I just got to watch out for birds pecking on it. This has a ton of growth and lots of good branching up top here, but I worry that it might be an issue come if there's any fire blight or anything on it, because it's going to be really hard to get there and cut, and I don't want it to get too tall. So, but those will be more fruit buds, and I think there's a good bit of spurs developing on those, so I might leave them and just let them do their thing, but we'll have to see. Okay, so now we'll go through some of the grafts on this tree. There are plenty. I did a lot of grafts on here. So first off, this is an antigraft right here. This here in the center off of this branch, I just discovered yesterday. Wait for the car to go by. Is a Pink Parfait apple. Oh, double car. So Pink Parfait apple, a graft right there. This is a Bite Me graft right here. It did grow a lot last year, but it's putting on a lot of growth this year. So I actually took off all of the growth that was downstream of it on the branch this year, so it's getting all the energy of that branch. And we'll walk over here. These two on the bottom that are doing pretty good are Hello Kitty. So that's Stephen Edholmes from Skill Cult. And then let's see, go over here. We have 2 hard candy cider grafts up here that are still wrapped. And then right here we have a Arkansas black graft right here. And then over here that finally just broke bud. I had to notch the tree over here. It might be hard to see. See if I can get it. Oosh, where are we at? There we go. So I had to notch the tree right in there. It's hard for it to focus. Wants to focus on everything in the background. So my hand. Focus on my hand. There we go. Yeah, I had to notch it right there beside my hand. See that notch right there? And then finally getting growth right here on it. So it's finally pushing growth. So those are all the grafts on this tree. And then we'll move over here. So this main tree here is on a rootstock that was grown from seed. This is a Spartan apple tree. It's very upward growth, very dark skin as well on that of the apple tree itself, which is normal. I'm going to end up taking out this very upward branch here and have it going to, well, let me not zoom in so you can see. So not this one here, but the one beside it that's going up in the background. I want to take that out to an outward facing branch there, so it's developing fruit buds on it instead of just being all upward growth. I will have to come in here and trim this top part, because this will grow another 5 feet this year. It's very, very vertical growing. It has a lot of energy in this rootstock, so I have to come in here and summer prune this, because if I don't, this whole section right here will end up just snapping off in a windstorm, because that's what one large branch of it did a couple years back. It just snapped off one day. No rhyme or reason, just did. All right, so now we'll go through the grafts on this tree. So right here we have a, might be hard to see because it might be hard to get it to focus. Focus on my hand, yeah. So this is lemon pippin here. It's looking pretty good. It finally started to push growth. This right here is a Williams Pride graft that I did. And it's put on a ton of growth. And I'll have to actually go through and retape it here, not in the not too distant future, so it doesn't get strangled by the grafting tape. Essentially, girdled is the proper terminology. But yeah, I have to leave some tight tape on there, because otherwise the wind would just snap that graft union real quick, because it's only, you know, a month and a half old. So and then there's these two right here that have push growth. They are black strawberry grafts from Skill Cult. And then right here we have Honest Renette. So it's grown a lot, so it looks really good. So that's this side of the apple orchard. Sorry that took 22 minutes to go through. It's a lot to explain. So we'll come over here to this side. Lots going on over here. So for the apple side of the house, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trees in this little section right here. I need to come through and spray the grass killer to kill off all this grass that's starting to grow in here. But let's see here. This first one here, like I said, is a Cherry Crush. It's very scabby, so I gotta spray it for scab here. But you can see its branches are they want to be very horizontal or even pointed towards the ground. Now that's very fruitful, but it also makes issue for like keeping it away from the deer, because yeah, I want it to grow tall so I can have the branching up in this area where the deer can't reach, but it just wants to stay this size here and put out these lateral branches that don't do much for me. I mean, they'll probably end up producing fruit, but I'm gonna have to, it's a tip bearer, but I'm gonna have to come in like in early June before they set their final buds and tip them back a little bit, just so that it'll grow new growth, because it'll still have, you know, 3 or 4 months, but it'll thicken up the branch a little bit, and then when it sets that fruit bud for next year on the tip of the branch, it won't actually snap the tree or have the fruit on the ground like this branch would. So there's that. This one here, moving on, is a graft I got this year from, or not a graft I got this year, but a full tree I got this year from Walmart. And it is, well, that needs to be fixed because it's not even on the tree anymore. It's a Dorset Golden Apple. It's got 3 apples on it. They are over here. My hope is that they don't finish all the way growing until I get back from our vacation in June, and that would not be good if they fall off the tree before then, or turn to mealy mush before I get back. But they're already pretty big, so still got a ways to go. They were kind of late at setting, so it might actually be okay. This one here is another yellow, not yellow delicious, golden delicious. And you can see it follows the same exact kind of pattern. It wants to have that really nice branching structure, but up there, like that one does. But this one, I've actually got it to produce some branches kind of in a good spacing down here at the bottom. So I'm hoping that they will actually set fruit next year if I don't overfeed them nitrogen this year. So that's the hope. And then let's see here. I got a couple grafts on here. This one's just starting to take off. This could be either Cherry Crush or Appaloosa. I'm not sure. Let me zoom in on it here. That it's finally starting to actually do something. Yeah, right there. And then same thing right here, but it hasn't actually pushed any buds. So I don't know if it's just slow or if it's just not going to do anything because it didn't have a connection on it. Anyway, this one right here is a Red Fuji I got growing. It's looking really good. And then this one right here is another Tropic Sweet graft that's taken, and it's growing pretty well. Lots of birds out this morning. This one here is interesting because it's got a tag on it that says Pink Pearl, but I know for a fact that it doesn't look like Pink Pearl, that one right there. It only had one Pink Pearl that took that year in 2013 or 2023. Geez, why I keep saying 2013? But I only had one graft of Pink Pearl that took. Oh, not 2024. I'm getting my dates mixed up here. All right. So this is actually a Honest Renette apple. So how I could tell, it's got the same leaf structure as that over there, and I was missing an Honest Renette that I had actually taken. So this is all Honest Renette, and it's looking pretty well. There is a graft on this tree besides that graft, because like the rootstock here is grown from seed. This right here is Pink Lemonade graft on it. And this one here is this year's graft, and this is Anna. So it's looking really good right now. We'll move on next to our Liberty apple tree. We have two grafts on this one. This is the Pink Pearl. You can tell it looks a lot different than that over there. All the leaves aren't clustered in one spot. There's lots of good growth space. It did not set any fruit. I think those might have been rat tails, but yeah, I didn't see any fruit on it, so that's unfortunate, but it's okay. Maybe next year we'll set some. I'm letting it grow to its full potential right now, and then we'll see. I might have to tip it in early June. Not a summer prune, but just a tip, just so the branches will thicken up a little bit, and it will actually produce good fruit buds at the end. And then over here, it only pushed out one little flush of growth, and it hasn't done much since then, but that might be because there's a lot of growth downstream of it, and I might need to actually take that off. I didn't even think of that. So this one here is a White Winter Permian. So right here, don't focus on the fence. Yeah, White Winter Permian there. And then on the Liberty side of the house, we have a bunch of apples. Let's see here, if I can actually see. Yeah, down in there. So we'll see if they actually make it to full size and don't get hit by something like the last one did last year. But I actually got to eat the one last year. It just I had to cut out the center because it had some like black rot or something on it. But I have, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 apples on this tree, I think, this year. So I tried to pick them off best I could so it wouldn't go into biennial uh, bearing, but we'll see. I left the one in the middle there just because I couldn't pick it off without tearing off the whole fruit bud. I didn't want to have to get in there with like scissors and deal with all that, potentially cause issues. Yeah, so anyway, moving on to the next tree now. This is just one graft onto a rootstock grown from seed from actually a root that was on a rootstock grown from seed that got stuck in the ground. And so this here is another pink lemonade. It put out one flush of growth and then it hasn't grown since then. It's it's kind of budded off at the ends. So it's probably just waiting. It's been really dry. So it's probably waiting for it to, since it just rained, it'll probably put out a new flush of growth here soon once the nutrients get back flowing into it, because it was probably going into like, yeah, I'm kind of missing some water here. You can see there's like a curled leaf right there. Most of its leaves have a little bit of curl to them, so that's also a sign of like it needs more water. But it just got 3.5 inches of rain, so hopefully that was enough to satiate it for a while on the waterfront. This one here, this is a Honeycrisp apple that was grafted a year before this one, but it's been destroyed by deer every single year. It got destroyed this year by deer a little bit, but it's actually put on a lot of growth, so I'm kind of happy with it. We'll see what it actually ends up doing here. And then over here for these last two, this one here is a winter banana apple. It got hit by deer as well this year, but it's put on a ton of growth. It's got some definite fruit buds forming already on it for next year, so that's good. And then I want to get some more branching over onto this side. Like all the branching is on this side of it right here. And I need branches going out over here to fill in this space. So I don't know, I might have to notch something in here to see if I can get it to branch out. But we'll deal with that later. And this is a pink parfait apple here. And so it's kind of loose. I don't know if the vole or groundhog or pocket gopher or whatever I got in there and got some of its roots this year. But it's, even with that, it's still actively growing. It's been growing really well this year. You can see it's unfurling leaves at the end. And then it hasn't been attacked by deer yet, but I don't want to like put that into existence, that thought. But it's, it's doing pretty well. This is a queen cox right here. And it's been attacked by deer this year. The fence was removed. They ate like a bunch of the branches, so that's why there's some that are regrowing here. But I mean, overall, it's doing well. This one is the one that got literally almost destroyed by the deer. You see the fence itself. It used to be round. It's not. It's all bent out to shape. That's because a deer got caught in it. And I don't know if it was the deer or the fence itself, but in the paint here, you might not be able to see, the bark was stripped off of most of this side of the tree. It was only about 35%, so hopefully it will, it'll only set the tree back in like size, but it won't like kill it. It's still got a good connection otherwise. But hopefully it will callus over, and eventually as it thickens, that area won't be as large. So that's that tree there. It's got some good growth going on it now. Most everything was ripped off. Let me get this bug off of it. I think that's a Japanese beetle. That might be the first Japanese beetle. Why are they out? It's too early for them. This is my Ein Shimmer apple tree here. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 apples on it right now. So a lot of its energy are going into them right now. They look pretty good so far. Hopefully they don't all get completed and growing until I get back from the trip. There's an apple right there. It looks like it's saying it's done with. Now let me flick that off here. Whoop. Yep, okay. That's what I thought. If it turns orange, that means that it's done. It's cut it off. It's saying I can't support this. So there's a couple of them where I've come through and I've just gotten rid of them because they were already starting to die. So before it just fell off on its own, I got them off myself. Then finally, for the front yard apples, I have a Florina apple here. I spread it out with a spreader yesterday, so we'll get hopefully some good action here. I'll probably end up, let me come around the other side here. What I'll probably end up doing to this is I'm going to let this grow this year as it is, see if it'll set fruit next year. If it sets fruit next year, then I'll leave it. But what I don't like is this crotch angle right here is really a V shape. So even though I got the spreader in there, it's not doing much. So what I might end up doing here is let this try to set fruit this year, or well, next year. Let this try to make fruit buds, because it looks like it's got a couple along that bottom part that it's trying to make. See if it'll set fruit next year, and then after next year, cut that whole branch off right there. So it's only the one main leader right here. So it's only this one main leader. Cut this branch off here on the side, and then just let this here produce branching out and actually make hopefully a good tree here, and not one that could just split half of it off at any time because of how how that angle is. Like, I could probably try to go in there and get a splitter to make it more of an angle at the bottom, but I'm afraid that it's just going to split that whole thing off right there, and I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to let that grow this year, try to set apples next year. If it does not set apples next year, I'm going to cut it off right before it starts growing next year, right after all these buds open next year. And that way all the energy goes into this, and then I'll go through and I'll notch this here, and I'll try to make a branch going out that way, and a branch going out that way, and a branch going out that way. So we'll have all four directions taken care of, because we got two directions already. We got one going this way going this way on the bottom here, and then a little further up we have a branch going off this way. And so those two sides are taken care of. I just need to get one that grows off in this direction here, so that direction there, and then one that's coming towards me basically over here, and then that'll be all set. So I'm going to stop this video now. About 38 minutes, and that's enough for the first part of this video. So that was the front yard apples. Next I'm going to do a video on the peaches, which hopefully will be a lot shorter because I only have 9 of those in the front yard. Let's see, yeah 8 of those in the front yard. So I have 8 peaches in the front yard. No, I got 9 because there's a little one over there. So hopefully I'll be able to walk through really quick, because I don't have like a bunch of grass on these. They're just peaches I grew from seed, or Red Haven peaches I got from the store. So, all right, I'll cut this off here, and thanks for joining. Bye-bye.